All right, it's
Yeah.
gonna start streaming live soon, but definitely comment what kind of designer you are, what your favorite animal is, and would you rather visit the deep sea or outer space? And once it hits live for me, make sure there's no echoing, we'll get started very soon.
Oh, I
Awesome.
read someone from Uruguay. That's so cool.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you all for coming.
Oh,
I know it's like super
Trinidad.
late in some parts of
Trinidad
Europe
too.
too.
Oh my God. You know, Trinidad was almost.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
we're live
San
on YouTube.
Francisco.
Thank you all so
Wow.
much for coming. We're super
Thailand.
excited to be here with Spline, learning and workshop on 3D. Spline can do a lot of wonderful 3D creations, and I feel like it's a really great tool for especially people new to design, new to 3D to learn as well. And I personally really like it. They also love bunnies as well. And we're super excited to be here with Alejandro from Spline, the founder of Spline. This event, we will start with a workshop and then later be a group photo in a way for Instagram story, and then also in Q&A session in case y'all have any questions. During our event, we'll also have a giveaway, and the prize is an M1 MacBook and also 10 Spline Pros and goodie bags. So comment hype in the chat if you're super hyped for all of our prizes. And we'll have a design challenge where you can make your favorite animal for the giveaway. And we'll have definitely instructions dropped in the chat very soon. There'll be a form on Airtable which has more information. It's where you'll submit, and it will be due about on August 4th, and we'll have another event to reveal the winner. And we'll also have the winners go up on stage and talk about their creation. Spline is also hiring product designers, motion designers, 3D designers, so definitely email them in the chat. All the information will be dropped in the chat shortly, but you can find them all right now on Luma and on our Discord server. And with that, I forgot to introduce myself, but I am Grace. I am the founder of Design Buddies. I also do a bunch of design for Design Buddies. And our Design Buddies is the largest design community in the world. We actually just hit 25,000 members today. And we partner up with a lot of friendly organizations like Spline, and also have a ton of events to help you level up your design career. I know most of our events in the past have been about UX and product design, but we've really been listening to your suggestions and bringing in all sorts of design and creative disciplines to bring you resources for y'all to enjoy. And our mascot is Fluffle the bunny. So this is Fluffle, I mean the other side, Fluffle. Fluffle's our friendly guardian bunny to oversee all of our buddies. So y'all are part of the Fluffle fam. And full-time, actually, I am a product designer at Electronic Arts. So I love games, I love design, I love 3D, and I love a lot of things. And with that, I'll leave the floor to Alejandro to do the workshop.
Yay. Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot, Grace, for the introduction. That was great. I am so nervous. I'm not really used to do events like this, so I'm super happy that we could do this, and I'm just going to go right ahead and share my screen before I make some sort of weird mistake. Let me see if I can share here. Can everyone see the screen there?
Yeah.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Alejandro. I'm the founder of Spline. Spline is, as you probably already know, like a 3D tool. It's actually a little different because we're trying to mix 2D with 3D. So it's actually a 3D tool that kind of looks like a 2D tool. So you can do a lot of the things that. Oh wait, what is that? It's like a line or something. Is that like for this like workshop, I never did like a workshop before, but I had like this experience like making tutorials for Spline, so I thought it might be fun to build something on Spline from scratch, like an animal. Maybe we can build like a bunny. So I don't have like a like a default or like a precedent for this. I just want to go ahead and see like how you can build stuff on Spline, and maybe how can you use Spline for your projects, and to build something either for clients work or whatever you're doing this 3D. I just want to say like most of the people that knows about 3D thinks that 3D is hard, and that makes a lot of sense because for many decades 3D 3D has been really hard. Like it's been really hard to understand how to use these complex tools out there, like Maya, Blender, and so on. But 3D can also be super powerful in terms of making something that is, that explore, your created, imagination and your creative expression. So one thing that I personally realized, and eventually on Spline we keep exploring, is that by designing in 3D, even if you're doing 2D, but in the 3D space, there is a lot of things that you discover in the design process itself, which is not normally what you learn when you're just, building everything in a single, 2D dimension setup, right? So I'm gonna try to start just by making like small shapes. Shall we make like a bunny? I think that would be like a fun experience. So I always like to start with a simple shape, and I just reset like the position, so I make sure it's right on the center. And let me see if I close this. So let's try making like a bunny, maybe like a little, fun. So I'm gonna make just like a round corner here. Maybe it can be like a little, like a little fat, and something like more like a round like this. And so there's like the ears of the bunny, which are usually very tight, very like tall. So there is like this on Spline, there is like this like command, like a shortcut. If you press like Alt and the letter R, you can like reset the view. So it's easier to, you can also press like S and Shift S, and then you focus on this object, for example. So I'm gonna press like Command D, and I'm going to duplicate this object. I'm gonna put it here. And then I'm gonna try to do the same, but maybe to create like the general shape for the LEDs, and maybe it could be something like this. I'll try making it very simple. So normally when you work like on a 3D tool, there is like these different patterns for what is called like 3D modeling, right? The usual way of modeling objects is called like polygonal modeling. And within the idea of modeling something that is based on polygons, there is also like strategies, and the most common strategy is to use like a box modeling approach. Spline right now at this moment is a little different, because everything that you build on Spline is like a parametric object, so you can actually control like the parameters after it. We don't have yet like a like a fully polygonal system or like a sculpting system, and it's probably one of the things that we want to add in the future. And it's probably going to be really fun once we have it. So for now, it's very similar to working on a on a 2D constraint system, and you just need to play around the constraint to find like nice way of building shapes. So I'm just gonna keep like playing with the shapes here until I get something that makes sense. So this is supposed to be some legs. So yeah, I think we need like some eyes, right? I can again try to duplicate this. Making some eyes that look like a square. Yeah, something like this. So the other thing that when we were building like Spline from the beginning, we realized that most of the 3D tools, when you want to control the overall shape, you need to actually control it from the center. And so it was like 2 years ago, and we realized like, why is this, right? Why is like most 3D tools you cannot control the shape from the bounding box, which is like how you do it on 2D, right? Normally when you work on something like, let's say Figma or Sketch, you're actually controlling the general size using like the bounding box. But in 3D, if you go to, 4D or Blender, what you're doing is that you're actually controlling the scale from the pivot of the object, which is very strange when you want to have like a general control of the volume. So actually making this resize system took us, you know, like, I don't know, like 8 months or something, just to figure out like the right way of doing it, because there are so many like technicalities around like what happened if you had like, you know, 3 objects inside 3 other objects and everything is rotated. So there's like a bunch of mathematics that you need to figure out in order for figure out the right transformation of the matrices. And so it's like a very simple stuff. And you know, it's one of these things that when you're building the software, you realize that you spend a lot of time doing something that it looks like obvious, but it's just that it's way too hard. And you know, then years goes, and you know, the progress that you make is very little, because it's just like a really complex technical topic. So so even though Spline is very simple at the moment, it actually took us like some years just to make it to this point. And it's always like frustrating not being able to, you know, to do some things that we want to do. It's just, you know, it takes time, and but hopefully at some point we will get there. So yeah, this is looking like something here. By the way, if anyone has like ideas about, you know, how to make the shape better or something, you know, go ahead and let me know. I will be try to check on the chat here and see what's happening.
Oh, someone's saying that they would like to position elements with coordinates. People are saying that the bunny looks super cute, and thank you. And someone is asking if the robot is a bunny. The bunny is a robot.
Oh, it's not. It's not. Someone says circle eyes. Maybe we can use circle eyes indeed. Let's just create like some. But I wanted to have like volume, so I'm gonna use like a cylinder.
Jason is asking about textures.
Oh yeah. What kind of what about textures? Let me see if I can. Can you apply texture mapping? Not yet. We have been thinking about this problem for some time already. It's a very hard problem to solve, especially do it right. But hopefully at some point we will have something that works. It will be ideal not to be needed to do it in the first place, but yeah, fortunately, it's one of these complex topics in the computer graphics world. We're just trying to figure out what's the right way of doing that. So I'm gonna.
Someone's asking about curves. Will we be creating curves today? And someone.
I think so. Yeah, I think it will be nice. Let's build like this character first. Oh, I wonder if I can maybe put this.
Someone's asking about the tail. Says, don't forget about the tail.
Yeah. Let me see if I can go here. Okay. And some corner here. And I copy like this material. So you can copy a material and then you can paste the material in another object, so it's easier. And then I can duplicate on Command D, and I'm gonna make it small, and that's gonna be the inner eye, I think. Oh, this is looking fun already.
Someone's asking, is there snapping? Do we have snap to object?
There is like you can enable or disable snapping. If you press like here on snapping, so for example, now if I move, there is no like red lines. But if I have it on, it's like trying to align. For example, it's aligning now with this object. So yeah, you can turn on and off snapping. It's probably gonna get better over time as we get like more features to snap objects in different ways, you know, including like orientation. So right now I'm just going to start changing like the colors of this. Let's see if I can copy the same material and paste it everywhere first. And then what I usually do is like, you can see here, like, for example, this is a very common problem in real-time graphics in general, like the way the lighting system works is like, you have like an object that is emitting light, And then it's like the shading that is basically trying to fake some sort of like light like intensity over the surface. But there is always like this grayness, like this you can see on the dark side of the color. It looks like gray or grayish. One thing that we did is like we enable like this overlay, like so you can actually overlay on the previous one. So it's like a weird concept because it did not exist before. But we figured out like what if we do the lighting itself like a ledger instead of just like being like this entity that you cannot control. So that enables us to have like these overlays in which you can have like darkness that is saturated. But yeah, and then now you need to be careful about it, because if you do it wrong, then it can be too much saturation, and then you also need to make sure that the other parts, for example, now the eyes are looking a little strange. So in this case, I think, for example, we should have like some overlay here as well, because there is some light that is coming from here. I think this object must be just a little red. So we consider the fact that it's closer to an object that is it has some saturation. So the white, it should not be like full white. It should be more like in the same like color palette from here. So if I copy this here and I copy and paste it here, then I have this. So now I'm going to change like the background. And let's use like, I don't know, I think because we already have too much pink, maybe we can use yellow just to maintain more or less like the same palette here. So it's more like in harmony. And then what we're missing right now is everything looks about the same. So in this case, we're going to do a couple of things. But for now, let's just make sure that we have the shape for this. So I'm going to make a small thing here, and it should be, I think, like, should be a little darker because it's inside. And maybe we can.
Alec, how do you keep the shape centered while you extrude it? Someone asked on the chat.
How do you keep the shape center?
Yes.
Well, in this case, what I'm doing is that I'm pressing Command D, and I am basically duplicating the shape. So it's basically duplicated in the same position. So when I move it, it's actually maintaining the same axis. So that's like a little trick there if you want to do something like this. I can try. I don't want to do the same process here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, in this case, move it like this, and I'm going to reverse the angle. I'm going to maintain the same angle from this, which is 16, and this is 19. So I should be using 16 here as well. And then I have like more symmetry. Then we can maybe consider a scaling. So if we now move a little, then we have something like this. But I still think like it should not be like the same color, the same brightness. Maybe it can be more like a different color here. See if we can find something that works better. And in fact, if you take a look, like everything looks too shiny. I feel the problem here is that we're using like foam, so maybe like a lumber material might be better. So it's not so shiny because it's supposed to be hair, and hair usually it does not reflect a shiny light. It's more like it diffuses the light. So it'd be more like lumber, and lumber is like this, algorithm which like you can, diffuse the light. So it may be better. Maybe the legs can be darker or can be a little white. I'm not so sure. What I'm gonna do now is like maybe we can make some sort of platform for this. So it's gonna be like a game character or something like that. And I'm gonna make sure that we are in like the top.
Someone's asking to make the bunny blush.
Okay. So I'm gonna do like this is gonna be like it's not like an actual perfect shape, because I think it might be good to have like some contrast from. And now we can just extrude this shape. Yeah, you can see here. So one thing that we're missing, and people ask us a lot, is like having like round corners on the vectors that you extrude, and we're actually working on this, and hopefully we'll be, you know, ready for everyone to use. But it's like a common need, you know, being able to have like round corners either on the vertices or on the actual final outcome. And I think maybe something green might be working well here. Something like this might be good. Because this is supposed to be like, again, like, let me just first duplicate like the same lighting approach here, and maybe less saturation, but more darkness. What we can do is that we can try duplicating this shape and then having like other, like maybe connections like this. So it's like some sort of, it can be something like this. Yeah, Grace says that she was like designing games, so she's probably thinking like, what are you doing? Like, this is not normal. This is not how you design a game. So I'm so sorry, Grace. I don't have that much experience in game design. I'm just playing around here. Yeah. So
Hendrix asking, is there a molding tool for the shapes?
a what?
A molding tool?
I don't know what is a molding tool.
To shape it. Can you talk about how we
no,
shape
yeah,
the shapes?
there is no something like that yet. Oh, I think my mouse is blocking. This happened before. I think it's something about the, I don't know, the sharing screen or something. And now my mouse is like, let me see if I can try fixing it somehow. It's like some sort of bug
Someone's
happening.
asking if you can group shapes together.
Yes, you can. You can select several shapes like this, for example, and then you can press Command G, and then you have like a group here. And then you can, you know, just select the group, and you can move the group individually, right? Or maybe rotating or something. But yeah, it's yeah. Let me see if I can try first fixing the camera situation. There's some sort of weird situation with the camera. I'm gonna have call this Bonnie. Bonnie 3D. Yeah, I just call it Bonnie. Yeah, so I cannot even type properly. I guess something is.
I think if you stop sharing and share again, it's a glitch with Zoom. It has happened while I'm teaching, so don't worry.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Someone's asking if Spline will be available soon for mobile or tablet, like iPad.
Oh my God! I hope one day. Yeah, that's you know, that's a very hard thing to do. So we're not a big team yet, but hopefully at some point in the future we can actually, you know, do complex things like that, and being able to offer like more.
Is there a shape exclusion tool? Some like Pathfinder kind of tool?
It is now. We're working on that one as well. Is also one of the things we are working. Yeah.
Yeah, Zoom is very heavy. Everybody's commenting on that.
Melissa's asking if a shape can have. Melissa's asking if a shape can have more than one color.
It does. Yes, it does. I can show that in a bit. Let me see first. Try to do something here. I wonder why is this not getting like shadow. Oh, I think maybe it's because the light needs to be bigger. Let me see. It's weird. Oh, there it is. Yeah, because the depth was not enough. So it was not getting shadow. And now what we need to do is that we need to either, yeah, this is where grouping is good. So you can select this, and now I have like a group, and I can just paste this here. Yeah, now someone asked about having multiple colors. Yeah, you can have like, for example, I can add here like I don't know, like a gradient or like a Fresnel, for example, and the Fresnel can have like a different color, right? So yeah, you can totally mix colors and, you know, have like combinations between gradients and depth mattes and stuff like that. So it all depends on what you're trying to achieve in this case. So let me see if this make any sense. Probably the bias is not a good idea for this specific character, but it's like one thing that you can do there. Now it looks like it's worry. It doesn't look like it's getting fun. So maybe we can try like a different different approach for the mouth here. Maybe it can
I
be
was
like,
just about to ask the chat to vote if it was cute or creepy.
Ale,
yeah.
someone's asking if is Spline compatible with Wacom tablets.
It kind of, it's partially, you can use it, but there is like a few things that we noticed that some events like that when you try to resize and stuff like that, actually it's a little hard to use. So we're trying to see like how to support these devices. Yeah.
Someone in the chat said the bunny's having an existential crisis.
Yeah, let's make this so it should be more like a dark red. Yeah, it should be more like a dark red. And you know what, it maybe has like some tea, right? Some normally they have like these, oh, wrong place. Yeah, oops. We can have like
Lego vibes.
yeah, oops. So I'm gonna try like going there, something like this, and I guess this will work, right?
Yeah, we need a tail and some teeth.
Yeah.
Does it have a body though?
Maybe some whiskers too. People like writing that in the chat.
And maybe a carrot. Good idea, Grace.
Yeah, we need a carrot.
Oh.
You know what we can do? Like sometimes there is like sand on. So for example, we can try making something like this, and that is small, and this is gonna be more like sand, right? Yeah. So that's gonna be more like there's like a little sand there. Maybe you can try to do it here as well. Just duplicate the shape and we just make sand. Just like that. Maybe I can just copy this material. Maybe
Oh, it's at the golf course. This bunny's at the golf course.
Oh, right. Yeah. That makes sense. And now we can try changing the color so we don't have like the repetition, and maybe it can be more like this, or it can
Jack says this bunny needs to go to the dentist.
Yeah, totally. We can also do like some trees, right? Like maybe we can have like some trees and we can just use like a cube. I mean, there can be like many ways in which we can do trees. We can maybe have like some Christmas trees as well and use like a different object, like a polygon, like a, like a comb or something. And we can have like some round corners on the top and on the bottom. And for the inner part, actually we can just duplicate this and then we can have something like this, right? And that will be some tree happening there.
Ale, is it possible to align shapes based on an anchored shape?
On an anchored shape, I don't think so. I think I know what that means, but not quite. What we can do is a workaround for that is like, for example, let's say that you have like a cube, right? and you want to rotate the cube from like a corner or something. So one way of doing that is that you make the cube, you make like a group object, and then you can press Command and Shift, and you can select like the Command Shift Alt, and you can select the empty object, and then you can move it to a corner, and then you can rotate now these from that corner, right? So now, for example, I'm rotating from here, and you can create like an animation this way as well if you want to, right? So that's like a workaround for now. So ideally, we should be able to move like the axis at some point. Yeah, that's like on my personal to-do list.
And can you merge shapes?
Not as well. Not quite there. Yeah, but hopefully soon.
Yeah. People are commenting that it's amazing and that you shouldn't be nervous because you're doing great.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thanks a lot.
Applause.
Oh, no. So I think something like this might work, right, for this. And what we can do is, again, we can create like a group here. We can duplicate this object, and we can have like a little forest on this side here. And yeah, something like this. And maybe some of them are smaller, so it's like more diversity in terms of size. And we can do like, on the other place as well, like maybe it's like around here. So one thing is, if you can see here, like something weird is happening, and probably someone in the chat already noticed, but you can see here is shadow and here is nothing. This is like one of these like unfortunate like side effects of current constraints in real-time graphics for the web, in which is the way that shadows are meant is like there is like this concept called like shadow maps, and shadow map is basically like you project a texture into something, right? Because it's a texture, there is like a limit, like a limit in the size. So you need to control like how big the actual area of the light is covering, and depending of that area, because it's like an invisible cube, you will be projecting the texture on the different objects. So for example, this tree here does not have any shadow, is because the area is is cropped right here, and the only way that we can change that if we can increase the size of the area. But when you increase the size, you also increase the size of the texture, so that means that the texture gets blurry, which might be something that you want, might be not something that you want, right? So there is like, that's like basically like a constraint of the technology at the moment, and there are like many ways of fixing this, but not one that we can do properly in real time, at least not at this moment. Hopefully pretty soon we can fix it using like a completely different rendering technique or something like that. So okay, so we have like something that it's making sense. So maybe on the sun we can have like some stumps. I think that would make sense, but I'm gonna save my work just in case. You never know. Now we can go here and we can try building like a couple of things here. Let's say that this is some sort of playground, right? So there might be some comps. Oh yeah, this is something else that we're working on. Like you can see, like I draw this, and instead of being pointing towards the top, it's actually pointing in an upward direction. So that's basically that's just us not having enough time to actually build like this feature in the right way. So we didn't have enough time to just capture the proper angle. But yeah, that's going to be one of the to-do lists as well.
Ale, could you speak to the different ways we can export into like different programs? Like, can we export into Blender or Cinema?
Sure. Yeah, you can export. You can, if you go here to the like publish and share, you can have like, you can export like like a public URL, and you can play this on the browser. You can also export an image or a web content. Web content is basically the same as the public URL. It's just that it's like for your own hosting. And GLTF is like this 3D in like a interchangeable format that you can use, and you can export like an object from here, and then you can use some Blender. But the problem with the exporting 3D objects this way is that there is no sometimes there's no guarantee that the shaders are going to be looking the same. So what is happening right now is if you export this entire scene, all the geometry and everything will be looking good, but there will be no lighting or colors on Blender because it's not being translated properly yet. So making that work actually takes a lot of time because there is a lot of conversion that needs to happen. And so most of the time, you want to spend the time building the product, making something useful, and not so much on the interchangeable format because they change it so much and it's really hard, and you can spend months on that. So at some point, hopefully we can make that better, but for now it's very limited. But we are going to enable more like formatting for exporting and something like that. So yeah, a bunch of things are coming soon. It's a little constrained right now, but a lot of things are coming soon to approach these kind of problems. So because this is like a playground, I'm just making here like some basic colors, maybe some blue, I think is missing.
Ale, and how can you have it from different views? Someone is asking on the chat, like to move it around like you're doing.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go there now. So what you can do is that, so there are like two ways, right? One is if you press the Alt key and you click and drag, you can rotate. If you press the space bar and you click and drag, you can, pan. And if you press, if you press Alt Art, you can reset, which is the same as clicking right under this button here in the middle. And let's see if I can close this a little. And there is also these default views here that you can use. For ISO is for isometric. So there is like an isometric view. If you press Command and you use the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. And this is for the left, and every other like views is from the bottom. This is from the top. This is from the back, and so on, right? So you can reset again and you get here. You can also select an object like this, and you can press the letter S, and it's going to snap it. So for example, let's say your object is like this, and you press the letter S, so it's going to center the camera into the object. If you press the letter, if you press the key, the shift key, and the letter S, then it's going to snap and also orientate the camera to the front of the object, so it's easier for you.
Ale, we have two questions here. One person is asking about the semicircle on the mouth of the bunny. How did you do that? And someone else is asking if you can do a sneak peek on animation stuff.
Sure. So the semicircle is basically using like it's like a full ellipse. Like this is like the ellipse shape, and you can control the angle of the slicing. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, it's very quite simple. Yeah. So let's try some. I wonder what would be like a good animation for this.
Perhaps some whiskers. We do a little.
Yeah, I wonder
to make the bunny blink.
Yeah, a little wink.
Maybe when you hover the right, yeah. Let me put the bunny
we got
on the top.
Jumping's another suggestion.
Hop, hop.
Just rename it this. This is gonna be the bunny. So let's add like a hover effect here. So when it's hovering, I want to change maybe the position. Oops. Oh, my mouth and my teeth here are not in the same object. So let me just create. Yeah, let's go there, and it's gonna be inside the bunny now. If I move it, yeah, that's working. Right, so we have these two steps. Maybe on the first step is like this, maybe like this, and maybe a very fast movement, like 0.2 seconds. So if we, oh, that's not working. I wonder, oh yeah, because I need to change. Okay, so state 1, so to play this, yeah. So now it's like jumping a little. We can make also like a repetition. Maybe this is gonna be repeating and rewinding. Yeah, it's like a very it's like a very happy. It's a very happy.
It looks like he's listening to like some music and he's like tapping along.
Yeah, gonna get a little crazy there.
Like Radiohead.
Again, I'm gonna ask the chat: is it cute or creepy?
It's vibing.
Still
so,
cute. Still cute.
Yeah, maybe we can even like trigger like a different position. So, for example, one thing that is interesting that we can do is like, for example, here we can make a group of these two objects, right? And we can, yeah, let's make like a group of these two, and it's gonna be like ear. It's gonna be right, or yeah, and create like a new state. Maybe it's gonna be more like this.
Peter's asking, is there a limit to the state of animations?
Is there a limit to this? What I'm not sure what's that.
Is there a limited amount of like animations that we can make, or is it unlimited?
Well, it is the constraint is more like how many events that you can attach that triggers an animation. That's the way right now. Hopefully in the future we can have like a much more complex animation system. But you can do a few things right now, but what you cannot do properly right now is like having like sequential animation, which might be fun to do. So for now, it's more like really simple kind of interaction-based effects. Yeah. Let's see, for example, here, I think when everything starts, maybe it's already on some sort of cycle happening for this. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's like a normal movement from the bunny, but it might be a fun thing to do. Let's try to do the same here for this one. Maybe this one is gonna be on the opposite, like this. And I wonder what happened if we do it. So I'm using the start event, and the start event means like it's gonna trigger the animation when the play starts, right? So right when everything starts, it's gonna play the animation, and it's gonna transition from base state to state number 1. And it's gonna be a cycle, it's gonna be a repeat, and it's also gonna be rewinding, and it's gonna be like 1 second. So if I play this, now it's doing that. Yeah, if I hover, you can see now it's 2 movements. So it's like this jumping and also moving the ears, right? So maybe
Bobby
that's what you wanted, maybe not.
Bobby's saying it's signaling for an aircraft, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, suddenly now the hands are kind of like the ears are kind of like hands, right? Yeah, maybe we can do something like that. Like now it's like, yeah, it's like a hand or something.
It's a mutant bunny.
Yeah, people are asking about screen rotation again, and if you can make any object transparent.
No, I'm not sure what's the context of screen rotation. But if you press the key, the Alt key, and then you click and drag, you can do, you can rotate the camera. You can also do something which is like, you can create like a custom camera. So here, for example, I can create like this custom camera. You can see this is, because this is an orthographic by default, it looks like this, but then I can use this camera. If I click here on default camera, I can use this new one I created, right? And now I'm using this new camera. every time I move, I'm now using this new camera, and you can see there's this cropping happening. It's because it's the new camera is using like a near value here that we can change. Maybe it can be more like minus something like this. But the cool thing is that you can animate the camera as well. So for example, I can create a new state for this camera, and maybe on this new state, the camera is on this position, or maybe even like closer. And now I have these two states, right, in which the camera is on different positions. And what I can do is that I can create an event as well, maybe on start event, or maybe when I hover on, I don't know, on the object, I can trigger this event. For now, let's do it on the start event, and it's going to be like 1 second, but let's put it 2. It's going to be only once, and when I, by default, it's going to start here, and when I play this, now you can see there is some transition happening, right? So you can create a bunch of these things like this as well. So maybe, for example, the transition is not triggered by the start event. Maybe the transition is triggered when you hover something. So we can try, for example, I don't know, when you hover on these 3 for some reason, the object that I'm going to trigger a change is going to be the camera. So I'm going to remove the event that I just created here. So I have this event, and it's going to transition now. It's going to be 2 seconds as well. So when I play, nothing happens, right? The camera is static, but if I hover these, oh wait, did I? Oh, it's not hover, it's mouse down. Let me choose. Yeah, let me choose. I need to click it, right? So if I click here, now it's moving. So you can have like these sort of triggering camera animations and things like that. So what we see, like some people is, for example, creating like presentations that you have a product, and you want that when you click on some part of the product, something, the camera is moving, and you can have like a very complex animation like that. Yeah, what else we can do here? And maybe we are missing, you know what? Normally there is also like some sort of water happening, right? Like maybe some lake.
Also fruit on the trees, like Animal Crossing, would be very cool.
Yeah, let's put some blue stuff here, and some lake. Some fruits. How can we do the fruits? You mean like on the trees, or maybe like everywhere, like just like random pieces?
On the trees.
The trees.
Yeah.
We can try doing one. Maybe this one here that is closer. We can try doing something, right? Like a couple of spheres and very low resolution, like 16 polygons.
Oh my God.
What?
Carrot trees. Ooh.
Dragon fruit, apples, gradients. People are asking for a lot of things.
Yeah. So.
Ale, someone's asking, what's the most complex thing you've made on Spline?
What's the most complex thing? That's gotta be something that is not public yet. Hopefully soon. I've been working on building some new stuff recently, and but it's not yet public, and hopefully it can be soon. But aside from that, there are like some pretty nice stuff that we did in the past. If you go to our Twitter, you can see a lot of the things that we have been building, and also on Instagram. I really like doing stuff like, maybe I want to maybe switch from this to a different project. So one thing I really like is this effect that is called like depth map. So I always like playing around with this, because I feel like not that many people in the computer graphics world is actually exploiting this on a visual way. So I often like to do this. Let me see if I can show what I'm talking about. By the way, this is like a torus knob. It's like a variation of a torus. A torus is basically like a donut, but this is just a little more complicated because it has like more revolutions. I'm gonna have like a bunch of segments so we can have like a proper curvature, and I'm gonna use like a full darkness. So back in the beginning when we were building Spline, I realized this very cool effect that no one really tried, which is that if you use if you calculate the depth of the scene, you can actually change the color, and then you can use that as a layer. So we created like this concept called like the depth map, which is like a depth layer, right? So normally it's like, you know, from white to dark, or from you know, black to white, but you can change the color, and it's like freaking crazy what you can do. Like you know, this is like a simple it's like example, but you can get really crazy into the actual outcome from this. Can be, for example, if I have like another depth map here, and this other one is more like I don't know, like a green or like a yellow color, then I can, you know, use a screen, and now I have like a combination of those colors. And then I can have another one again, but this one maybe is a little more to the back, and then I can multiply these, so it's like darkening the other side. And what I can do is I can change. Did I multiply? Oh yeah, multiply. So now we have like these. It's like it basically, the depth is like a 3D gradient, and that's why we sometimes you know, we call it like 3D gradient. And then you can have these cool effects. You normally see these sort of effects when you build stuff like on Cinema 4D, but not in real time, because it's usually hard to do something like this in real time. But because we're using like a very old technique, it's just like calculating color through the depth. It's very efficient. So you can see here that it's like some overexposure, and what I can do is like I can create another depth, and then I can have it closer, right? Closer, and something like this, and now I can use like a different colors as well. Maybe it can be green or something. I can screen these, and now you can see it's not overexposed anymore, but now it's a mix of like, you know, 4 different depth maps. And then when you change like the shape here, you start getting like this weird and interesting stuff. Like, and I really love this and how this look. And then it's like one of the beauties of computer graphics, when you discover this weirdness. And again, you know, if you change like the values, like for example, something like this, and then you make this like bigger, you start getting these weird results. Like, so yeah, you can get visual complexity without actually getting like you know, general complexity in terms of the scene. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So for example, if you change like the color of the background, and then you can also change the color of here, and then you might get a similar effect without that much complexity. You can see there is like this very powerful effect happening here, like it's inside or something. So yeah, it's you know, a bunch of things that you can play around, and you know, maybe you can find like a new way of, you know, rendering and making shaders and things like that. So yeah, let me play around again a little just here, and yeah, now we have like this kind of if we actually make it even smaller, we can have something like this, which is like very, very thin. And you know, so imagine that maybe you have like some 3D, some text on your website. Like for example, you have something here that it says, I don't know, like design. So you can have like 2000 something here, and it's white, and then you can put here. So maybe, for example, you have these text, and the text might have a parent object, and or maybe just like this, and then you can, you know, you move around, you can see that it's slightly there. You can see there is a lot of websites that use this effect, and it usually requires a lot of coding and a lot of like complicated you know, compositions, but you can do something like this without all that you know, complexity in terms of coding, and we just make it a little more clear. Yeah.
Ale, can you quickly show us how we can add some depth to the text?
Oh, it's not, unfortunately. Yeah. unfortunately, the TEDs, it's like a really beast that we need to improve. And it's you cannot have yet like material system on TEDs. This is like the most annoying thing I know, but at some point, hopefully, we will get there. So the TEDs will be way more useful than it is right now. All right, so let's make these TEDs and torus. Yeah, there it is. So what I'm going to do is because I have been playing around by myself here, I actually want everyone to see the result of this on their computers. So I'm going to export this, and I'm going to copy the link for everyone to play around, and so you can on your computers play with this. And we have like a challenge, right? Which is to build like and I'm not so sure if Farida, you want to talk about it, or Grace, but yeah, we're looking forward to see what you can build.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking on the chat, Ale, if they can do like creatures that are not necessarily animals. What do you feel about that?
Like I mean, well, animal can be a lot of things, right? So feel free to go ahead. I mean, there's like mythological creatures, and
yeah, something really cool about the challenge.
Jellyfish. Great jellyfish. Those are animals too. Under the sea, aliens.
Right, yeah.
Your imagination. Yeah.
Something really cool about the challenge is that there's not only one winner. Besides the MacBook, we're also giving away 10 Pro subscriptions and goodie bags that include shirts and tote bags and a bunch of school stuff. So I encourage everyone to participate, and the winner will be chosen at random. So everyone gets a chance, even if you are just beginning at 3D.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, feel free everyone to play around, but it's really looking forward to what you can build, what you can do with Spline. Hopefully this workshop was useful for someone, and so you can try to use this for your projects. We are gonna be building a lot of more features and a lot of really nice improvements over time. Yeah, we're just starting, so keep in touch there, and stay put on Twitter. You will hear from us very soon about new updates and improvements.
We have some questions here. Some people are asking if you can incorporate this in Wix. Another person is asking
what's the
difference between the regular and the Pro version?
Oh, right. So right now the Pro version, the key difference is that if you want to export like a public URL, it's like this watermark on the bottom. It just removes that, and it also enables like an experimental video feature, but it's very experimental and sometimes it's not working properly. So we're actually working on that. But yeah, that's like the main difference right now. Yeah.
So we're gonna take a group photo now, and Ale, can you stop sharing your screen so we can see everyone?
Yeah, thank you so much. That was great. I love the scene you made. It really brings me back to my game design days as well. I used to make a lot of scenes like that in 3D. And yeah, we're going to do a group photo. So give it a couple seconds for y'all to turn your camera. We'll have multiple pages, and feel free to grab a random object or grab your stuffed animals. We're going to do a static one and a wave. Oh my God, I love that bunny. I need a light like that. I have a light that's like an onion, but not like a bunny.
Look at the little tail.
Yeah, also make sure to participate in our design challenge where you can win a MacBook Pro. The link is in the Airtable. I just recently dropped it. And make sure to connect with both Design Buddies and Spline on social media. We would love to see all your creations. Make sure to use the hashtag Spline3D Buddies when you post your creations on social media. You can also post them on our Discord server. It's a channel named Spline 3D challenge. And when you join Discord, if you're all new to Design Buddies, we have a very short verification step where you had to look in the rules channel, read the rules and click on the bunny. This will unlock you access to like over 50 channels. So if you only see like less than 10 channels, that's why. And so make sure you do that to get access to like the whole server. We do this to prevent bots and stuff like that too. And yeah, make sure to post your creations. You have until August 3rd, 11:59 Pacific Pacific time. So basically the end of day. And with that, we're gonna start doing a photo. I'm gonna count down. It's gonna be multiple pages, so just stay static. Oh my god, really cool. I see multiple baby Yodas.
I know, the Grogus are so cute.
Yeah, I love them. All right, gonna have a Pikachu this time.
Yeah,
Like into my
Pokemon.
photo. Yeah, Pokemon buddies. Comment
Oh,
your
so
favorite Pokemon in the
cute,
chat too.
everyone.
All right.
I love the
10.
ukulele.
Oh, nice. I love everyone's stuffed animals. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Wait, someone has the anime filter. I love that.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Like,
I love it. 2, 1. Say Fluffle.
Fluffle.
Fun.
We're gonna do all the pages. Just stay smiling. I need to get everyone. Say Fluffle.
Fluffle.
I know, we can only do each other. All right, one more page.
My cheeks hurt. Ah.
All right, now we can do a wave, and then we'll have a Q&A. So make sure you put your questions on Slido and upload each other's questions, or just put them in the Zoom. We were collecting questions both ways. So it's going to be on our story, design.buddies on Instagram. We do this after every event. So feel free to wave, dance, dab. Oh, all right. All right, let me actually pull up the screenshot of the screen. Let me just give me like 2 seconds. I like to do like interesting stuff with our videos, with our stories. So one moment. I'm opening that up. Cool. All right, ready, set, wave. Hello, buddies. We just had a wonderful 3D workshop with Spline. Here's the creation Alejandro made. It's a bunny fluffle. Here are all of our buddies joining us today. Thank you all so much for coming. We'd love to see all your creations on social media and on Discord, so make sure to share them with us. Awesome. So we're going to resume with the Q&A session. It's going to be on our Instagram at design.buddies, and you'll be able to see all of your faces on our story.
awesome.
All right. Any questions? Oh,
I read a couple of questions right here. Someone was asking about merging shapes. Another person was asking the difference between pro and regular spline. And a lot of people asking about type and how to work with type.
I think we actually, it's not this the same that we were that was replying before. Looks like similar, right?
Yeah, I think people ask the same questions several times.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I think we can go like merging shapes, not possible, really hard, very annoying that we don't have it. I know it. I personally tried to code it myself several times. It's not yet quite real time. Hopefully sometime in the future.
And someone's asking the inspiration behind the Spline logo. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the Spline logo, I wanted to be a sphere because in geometry, the sphere is, you know, one of these beauties. It's like one of the easiest shape to define mathematically. So I wanted to use like sphere for that. You can literally use a sphere. Many of geometry related problems are associated to or related to spheres. The other thing is that the gradient on the spline logo is using something that is almost like a spline interpolation. So the little interpolation between the colors are actually using a function that is defined by a spline. So it was like, it's kind of a stretch there, but I thought, you know, so that was the main, and it kind of looks like an S from, you know, certain point of views. So yeah, and an improvement will be to make it fully seamless. Because right now it's not like a full seamless 3D sphere. It's it has like another side, and the other side you can see that there's like a seam. So maybe hopefully one time we can make it just like a full parametric sphere.
Oh, that's great. Someone's asking, how can you make objects symmetrical?
You can't. You can't. I mean, if you use like a parametric object, that is symmetrical, and you can duplicate. So there's like a workaround. The workaround is you can duplicate your object. Let's say that you have like a bunch of objects and you want to have like symmetry. You create like a group with all these objects, and you duplicate the group, and then you invert the scale to -1 using the transform inputs on the sidebar, right? On the top of the position below that is like a scale. You can invert the scale, which is actually how symmetry works in an actual full program, you know, like Cinema 4D. It's just literally like an inverse of whatever you're seeing. It's just that we don't have it in a way that is dynamic and it's useful and it's parametric. Yeah.
Someone else is asking about the use of shift and the shift key, and if it's possible to use it for straight lines.
If you're using the vector editing tool, there is some snapping happening, but it's not on shift. It's I mean, you can press shift and you have like a 45 degrees, if I'm not wrong right now, 45 degrees snapping, which might be helpful if you want to have straight lines on a vector shape. But if the question is related to build like an actual, you know, like a 1 pixel or 2 pixel line, that's not possible yet. Yeah, again, I feel like I'm adding the list of to do is very long, but it is actually it's actually with something that we actually thinking about.
Someone's asking.
By the way, if there is anyone curious about technicality, drawing lines is one of the most complex computer graphics problem. It's a stupid thing, but it is hard for some weird reason. And there is a lot of mathematical stuff happening behind, but we will get there, I promise, but not right now.
Someone's asking if you can trigger audio.
So the fun thing is that we have it before. Before launching Spline, we have audio and also video, but we disabled it. It was not stable enough, and then we realized that it was going to be really hard to maintain that feature, so we disabled it. So it's totally possible, and maybe in the future and future updates we can enable that. Yeah.
Someone's asking, how do we open source files in Spline from the URL?
It's not possible yet, but maybe soon. It's actually something that it's really feasible in the short term. So hopefully we can do it soon. So stay on Twitter. If we are constantly publishing updates.
Yeah, Ella will publish
on Twitter,
our social media on the chat soon.
Yeah.
How about if you can easily downscale an entire project, let's say select it all and make it smaller?
You can, but it depends, I guess. If you're using cameras, things can get a little complicated because you might be distorting the camera proportions. But in theory, you should be able to scale most. I mean, if you're talking about geometries and you can create like a group and you can scale everything, that should work. We can try it right now, honestly.
Yeah, that would be. I will
yeah.
be. Can you answer one more question before you do that?
Sure.
Someone's
I can do it.
How and why did you found Spline? That's a great question.
So the background is I have been working on 3D for a long time. I discovered 3D when I was like a child. So my parents have AutoCAD installed on their machines when I was like 12 or something. And I got like really curious about what is all of this stuff. And so they have like this book with some really nice 3D illustrations. It's mostly like industrial design and architecture related stuff. So that got me into understanding the world. And after that, I made the connection. I realized that most of the games back in the time for PlayStation were built in a 3D software. And the same kind of software were also used to create movies, animated movies. So I thought, well, if people is making this, there's probably some software happening. And how can I find the software? So I asked my dad, you know, can we, you know, can you help me out? And so we drove to a different district, and we go to a place, the only place that we knew that we could find software like this. So we found like this little old man that they had like really hundreds or something software, all pirate software actually. So it's like an all pirate software. So for context, I was born in Venezuela. Venezuela, you know, I was born in a very, humble family. I learned all this stuff. We never had internet, so I actually, for many years, I just dedicated, my afternoons after school. I spend the whole time in a cyber coffee, and just learning and downloading the websites. Back in the time, that was something that you do, and you don't have the websites. And then I go to my computer in my house and I read everything. And I did that for like about 5 years, and then I got into university, and I dropped out, and then I got into another university and dropped, and I studied like design. I studied design. I realized that design was very much 2D design, and so I have, by the time that I got into design school, I had all these empirical learning about stuff that I really like just because I love it, and I thought, wow, but why is design just 2D? That's a weird thing. But I noticed that a lot of my friends, they really like the idea of learning 3D, and so I thought, well, why is not people learning 3D? That's a strange. It happens to be that 3D was so hard, and even back in the time, I'm talking about like 11 years ago or something. There's Maya, there is Autodesk, there is Blender. Blender was not even like a real thing back in, at least not as big as it is right now. It was very, very unstable and hard to use. And so I thought, why don't we just have like a design tool, like a 3D design tool that is easy to use, like a graphic design tool, but for 3D, right? And surprisingly, no one really actually did it in a way that it was, good enough for most people to use it. I actually prototyped the first version of Spline in a software called Macromedia Fireworks back in 2011 or something. I don't even remember. But I didn't know how to code, so I learned to code over the years. I learned to code in C# because I was using Unity for some projects that I was working on. And then I learned to code in JavaScript, and eventually I was finally able to start working on Spline like three years ago. I decided, well, now it's time to actually make this thing, because I realized the 3D on the web was being built using code. And I always thought that, why are we writing code to make a 3D, a visual process? And so I decided to focus Spline on solving that problem, because the 3D needs to be a visual process if you want to design something, and that's basically how things came to be. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Ale.
Sorry for the long answer. I just realized I just had said the last part only.
No, I think it's a great, inspiring answer. A lot of us, feel that you are a role model, and so it's.
I'm definitely not a role model.
So can you
amazing,
please,
Ale.
yeah, can you please share your screen and show us how to scale down the
Oh yeah, sure.
team?
Sure. Let me go back to the sharing. So I'm not so sure if this is what is being asked, but yeah, you can select like all of these, can create like maybe like a big group. I am selecting everything, I guess so, but I create like a group here. I think I'm selecting something that is not wrong. Let me see if I can move the camera. Bonnie. Okay. So then you can just do this, right? Whoop. And then if you zoom in, it's going to be more or less about the same, but you can see that the light is bigger, and but your model is so what the shadow looks softer because the light is bigger, so you can actually reduce the size of the light in this case as well, and then you have the similar thing, but now it's a very different scale. So that might be one way, right? You can do this if you want to try doing something like this. Yeah. All right. Yep. That is it.
Oh, Grace, you want to take the mic?
Yeah, thank you so much. This is amazing. Do you mind sharing the project in the chat, and we can like share it so people can see how you made it? Because I'm also curious too.
Yeah, I share. Well, I shared the result on like the links. I'm not sure if you see it there. It was like a couple of minutes ago.
Let me see. But yeah, we can definitely connect offline. But thank you so much. That was amazing. I loved how you shared the story, how you found it Spline as well. I definitely think that, especially for me, when I was trying to learn 3D, for some context, really context, I studied bioengineering in school and computer science, but 3D, I was going to do game design, and I was trying to learn Maya, and it seemed like really intimidating. So I feel like Spline is like really cool because I feel like if I were new to 3D, it'd been so much more easier to use. I wish I had that tool when I was like back a few years ago. When I was learning all that and just creating all these like fun worlds. I just love how intuitive and easy to use. And I just love how it reminds me a little bit like Figma and just like went to design tools. So I really love how you thought of how designers work and how you like structured a UI and a tool based on that too. But that was super fun. And yeah, in the chat, yeah, Maya's hard. It is. And yeah, definitely connect with Spline, connect with design buddies. Spline also has a TikTok, which is super amazing, something that we're trying to do as well. And definitely share all of your creations on their Discord. We would love to see. I think I saw some of y'all share screenshots in the chat too, but Kyle created a bunny, a blue bunny that reminded maybe of Doraemon. So definitely check that out on Discord too. Make sure to share it on social media as well if you would like. Tag Design Buddies, tag Spline, use the hashtag Spline3D Buddies. So we'll make sure to not miss that. And yeah, we would love to reshare it, feature y'all, and just want to see your creations. Oh, nice. Kate also shared her design. So yeah, that kind of wraps us up. But thank you all so much for coming. If y'all missed any part of the event, it is live streamed on YouTube. So the email you registered on Luma, we'll be sending out the recording and all the information, all the links and everything we said in the email that you registered it on Luma. Yeah, any last words from anyone too? And for the host, we could do like a quick 5-minute retro as well after we conclude. Oh yeah, also learn how to export. Definitely docs.spline.design. Refer to that. That has like everything.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, my last word is 3D rocks.
Yeah.
We will be doing our best, to make this much better and useful. We're really very early, but we're gonna be there. We're doing this because we really like it. So.
Yeah, and also Spline is hiring product designers, motion designers, and 3D designers. So make sure to email. I think jobs@spline.com. Yeah. So we have Feel free
to reach out anytime. We're growing the team. We need help. And we're giving away a map book, and it's like the fit map book that we're giving away. So yeah, I mean, it's not like we're Apple fan people, but it's just like they look cool, and so we're giving away one. We're running out of money because we're giving away too many computers. So it's probably not gonna happen too much as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Taylor asked in the chat, are you open to junior designers? I know a lot of people in Design Buddies are around that zone. So yeah, maybe we could talk a little bit more about the positions that you're hiring for.
So, well, right now, to be honest, we are hiring more in a senior level. At the beginning of the year, a couple of senior, like 3 or 4 people joined the team in a junior level. But right now, we're not doing that because what we're doing right now is really, honestly, quite complex, and it requires a lot of commitment. So we're mostly focused on a senior level, yes.
Let's see, in full-time, right? Someone asked that in the chat.
Yeah, full-time, yeah.
And all remote, right? I assume, because you're all
It's all
over the
remote.
world.
Yeah, it's all remote. But right
Yeah.
now we are in, I think, in 12 different countries. So yeah.
Wow, it's really diverse. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out if y'all interested in joining.
Totally.
Cool. Yeah. We look forward to see all your creations, and definitely don't forget to post them on Discord, just social media. Love to check it out.
Yep.
I need to design a full game world now. I'm inspired by that.
Can we give like an applause to Grace? I mean, I think Grace and the team, from the Sign Boys done like a really great job. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We really enjoy
Thank
hosting
you.
events. Thank you. This is like our third event this week, but it's been super fun. I love every single event. I've always learned something new each time. So thank you all so much for taking the time to speak to our Fofo fam or our buddies tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see the animals you guys are building.
Yeah. You have until August 3rd to submit them. End of day. So August 3rd, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure to submit on Airtable to be eligible for the M1 MacBook as well as the Spline Pro subscriptions. And we also have a networking sheet if you would like to drop your LinkedIns as well. We'll email everything to you shortly after this. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and don't forget to share your creations with us.
Bye bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's been great.